So hi everyone, we look into example 10.4 of chapter 10, which is graphs. You will always get a 10 mark question which is going to be a this or that question, right? So you'll either get from examples 10.1 to 10.5 and exercise 10.1, or you will get from exercise 10.2 and the related examples. Okay, so now I'm going to start with example 10.4. You have to solve this equation here graphically. Okay, so for that what we're going to do is we are going to have a tabular column and I'm going to assign values for x. The values that I'm going to assign are going to range from minus 3 to plus 3. So it's going to be minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3, right? If my value of x is minus 3, then I have to find out what will be the corresponding value of this equation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out x squared, then I'm going to find out 2x squared, then I'm going to have a minus x, it's a plus x, right? Sorry. So I'm going to have a plus x and I'm going to have a minus 6, right? So if we solve this 2x squared plus x minus 6, we will get y. So I'm going to write down the equation as y is equal to 2x squared plus x minus 6. So we have to find out the value of y. That is what we have to solve here, right? So let's get started. Now, what is the value of x squared here? If it's x is minus 3, x squared is going to be 9. 2 into x squared is going to be 18. Plus x is anyway the same here, minus 3 and minus 6. So 18 minus 3 minus 6 is going to give you plus 9, right? Now let's do the same for the next one. Can you do the sum along with me so that you can just check the answers? So your tabular column will look like this after you have completed. You can pause the video at this point and check whether your answer is correct. Okay, because after this what we are going to do is we are going to draw the graph. Okay, so to draw the graph I'm just going to plot the points. So to make it convenient, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to note down my points. So I'll just take the x and the corresponding y values. So my points are minus 3 comma 9, then minus 2 and 0, minus 2 comma 0, minus 1 comma minus 5, 0 comma 6, so it is minus 6. See, these kind of small errors should be very careful. 1 comma minus 3 and 2 comma 4, and the last point is 3 comma 15. So these are the points that we are going to plot. Okay, so I have a sample graph over here. You can also draw it in a graph sheet and see, or at least observe how it is done. So I'm just drawing a rough graph. I repeat, I'm drawing only a rough graph. So when you do it on paper, it should be very neat. Okay, you have to use your scale. It should not be a free hand. Okay, unless when you're drawing the curve. Okay, so now on my x-axis I'm going to say 1 unit here. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. So we're going to mark it as this is 0, of course, right? 0 comma 0, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise the negative over here, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4, right? Likewise I'm also taking the going to do the y-axis. In the y-axis I'm saying that 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units. Okay, so count in 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? And here I'm going to put it as minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, minus 8. Okay, so this is our y-axis, right? Okay, good. So this is y, and below you have the minus sign, you'll have y dash. Now let's plot the points. What is the first point? The first point is minus 3 comma 9. So on the x-axis axis it's minus 3, and on the y-axis it is 9. So it is going to be, see, this is 8. If you see the y-axis, this is 8, this is 10. So the midpoint has to be 9, right? So minus 3 comma 9 comes over here. Okay, so I'm going to mark this point as minus 3 comma 9. Always the x coordinate is first, right? It's always x comma y. Likewise, plot the second point. It is minus 2 comma 0. That is, the x is minus 2 but y is 0, right? So this is minus 2 comma 0. Then the third point is minus 1 comma minus 5. So minus 1 on the x-axis and minus 5 on the y will be here, right? This point. So minus comma 1 comma minus 5 will be over here. So this is minus 4, this is minus 6. So in between you have minus 1 comma minus 5. As and when you plot the point, please write the coordinates also, minus 1 comma minus 5. Then the next point that we have is 0 comma minus 6. X is 0 and y is minus 6. So 0 comma minus 6 is this point, right? And then we have 1 comma minus 3. X is 1, y is minus 3. So if this is minus 2 and this is minus 4, in between you have minus 3. Right? Do it slowly, no hurries at all, because the plotting of the points is the most important part of this. You might do your sum perfectly right, but if you make a mistake in plotting, then your curve, right, the resultant curve will not be correct. Okay. Next point is 2 comma 4. X-axis it's 2 and y-axis it is 4. So I'm marking this point as 2 comma 4. And the last one is 3 comma 15. So 3 over here and 15, right? So 3 is over here and 15, I actually do not have enough space over here, but in your graph, which is a big sheet, you will definitely have. So I'm just marking 3 comma 15 over here, right? But this is only a sample graph, but in your proper graph sheet you will mark it between 14 and 16. Alright, between 14 and 16 you will have 15 on the y-axis. There you have to mark this. Right, now let's try to join these points. Okay, right, so when I join my points, I get a kind of an inverted V like this. Okay, see, unfortunately I'm not able to show this to you in one single page, but definitely when you see it in your graph sheet, you can see it as one single you can see it in one single page, and that will be like an V. Okay, right. Okay, after this ipo enna pananumna, you have to find out where does this curve is what your equation y is equal to 2x squared plus x minus 6. In the equation தான் நம்ம எப்படி plot பண்ணும்போது it comes like a curve, right? A curve which is pointing upwards, right? So now you find out where does this curve cut the x-axis, right? It cuts in 2 points. One point is over here, minus 2, and the other point it cuts is in between 1 and 2 here, this point here, which is 1.5, right? So you can say that the solution set is gonna be minus 2 comma 1.5, because the curve cuts the x-axis at 2 points, minus 2 comma 0 and minus plus 1.5 comma 0. You can say that the solution is x is equal to minus 2 and 1.5. So this is how you are going to solve the given equation graphically. So what do you have to do? So you will have to draw the graph for the given equation by plotting points between minus 3 and plus 3. If x takes the value of minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, what will be the corresponding value of y? So you substitute the value of x in this equation. So in order to solve it easily, we have split that equation into each of its terms, and then we add them together, we get y. Now we are going to plot, we note down the different values of x and y, and we are plotting these points. When we plotted these points and joined the points, we got a curve, right? Now I want to see where the curve cuts the x-axis. We saw that it cuts it at -2, x is equal to -2 and x is equal to 1.5. Therefore, these two values becomes my solution set. Right? This will be the value of x for which this equation will become equal to 0. Right? You can even try it out over here. If I put -2 here, this equation becomes 2 into 4, 6 plus 2, and here it's -2 and -6. So 8, right? So you get +8 -8, you get it as 0. Right? So these are the values of x for which the given equation becomes 0. So, right, very simple for 10 marks. So what should you do? In your graph, you ensure that you draw it very neatly. Write the scale properly. Here I have just written a simple scale, but this is how you must write the scale. Usually writing the scale carries marks. If you don't write the scale, you don't get marks. So you will say, in my x-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit, right? And in my y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units, right? You can take whatever you want, but eventually you must get the values of x correctly. So don't forget to write the scale. Okay? Fine. We'll do some more sums. You'll become very familiar with this.